Welcome to the Footy Wrap. I'm Jeff Wortman and this is Paul Hogan. Are you ready to go?
I'm fine.
Okay. I know you like to do your warm-up before we start.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Well, actually, Paul and I shot a short film together on the weekend, and I think we've got some footage actually of how Paul warms up before he goes for the shoot. I'm still rolling and...
Okay, that's probably enough of that. That's fine.
It is cause to get excited though, because Carlton have turned it all around and the final of the NAB Cup's coming up.
They're in it.
And they'll play against Brisbane.
Fev kicked 8 goals on the weekend.
Yeah, they kicked 10 unanswered goals to come back and win the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be getting quite excited if I was a Carlton supporter. Another person getting excited is Richard Pratt, who's pouring all his time and money and energy into
his
Carlton.
own time and his own money.
Yeah, he's already spent $300,000 at Carlton.
But a lot of that goes to Brendan Favola's mobile phone bill.
And also Rod Ashman and Tony DeBolfo have been employed as employees of Vizzy, but they're actually working for Carlton.
So they're on the books at Vizzy, but Carlton gets to use them full time.
Yeah, he's sort of mixing his two loves there.
See, I can't help but think that this is going to come back to bite him. Who can remember when Joe Gutnick invested, I think, $1 million of his own cash into Melbourne, and then they bloody gave him the boot. They got rid of him. Oh, look, I think that we've got to expose what's going on down there at Carlton. I think you need an administration salary cap like you have a player's salary cap. Just so we know who's working there and who's paying for them. I mean, how long until this becomes the norm for the players? How long until Brendan Favola is employed as the janitor at Vizzy Board and he just so happens to turn up on a Saturday afternoon?
When they're one short.
Yeah.
Paul, help me out here if you can, because there's been all this talk in the AFL this week about recreational drugs, and apparently it's rife, like in the AFL community.
Rampant.
With players taking things at nightclubs such as ecstasy, and apparently ecstasy is a good one to take because, well, if you wanted to take it, because it quickly disappears from your system and it's impossible to trace. So, I mean...
I wouldn't say that. I mean, I think it's quite obvious, you know, if you've got to try to choose the player that's taking ecstasy...
No, it's not actually, because apparently it gets out of your system within a day and...
Well, you just go to the football and, you know, look for the player that turns up with a pair of fluoro pants on craving KFC at half-time.
But the problem is no one's prepared to name any names at all, and I don't even know who's involved, or it's like a non-story.
But that's not the interesting thing. The interesting thing isn't speculating about who's doing the drugs. I think the interesting thing is speculating about who's dobbing.
Alright, can I at least know who I'm talking to?
I am the anonymous player from Fremantle.
Fremantle, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're obviously not a rover.
No, and nor am I a forward or a backman.
So...
A tall midfielder, just say.
I'll call you Mr. X.
Oh, Mr. S.
Really?
Just between, you know...
Alright, so recreational drugs. You say you know of players who are taking them in nightclubs and...
Oh, I don't know if I want to mention any names. I don't know if I want to spill the beans.
Well, maybe this will refresh your memory a little bit.
Oh, okay. Alright then. Well, I didn't think I'd want a remuneration, but I would be interested in a small grant. Yes. The small one, not the one from the Western Bulldogs.
Maybe a larger grant will sort of...
Yeah, the one from the Kangaroos.
Okay, right, gotcha.
Right.
And anybody else? Is that it?
Oh, look, I don't know if I have the power to speculate.
Oh, yes.
I'd like to bet on someone from Carlton.
Somebody fast? Like Fast Eddie? Or?
No, Brendan Favola.
Paul, are you like me in thinking that Essendon are going to have a much better year this year than they did last year?
I don't know. Injuries always tend to be Essendon's biggest problem.
Well, it's funny you should say that because Scotty Lucas has just been sidelined with a bout of the mumps. Which,
mumps?
Very bad luck.
Is it still around?
Well, apparently so, yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, I've got Essendon's most up-to-date injury list here. I can tell you that Kepler Bradley's going to be out for 3 weeks with typhoid.
Oh, right.
Dustin Fletcher, 4 weeks, yellow fever. Courtney Johns, he's got the mad cow.
Oh, that's unlucky.
James Hird was going to play a practice match, but he will be back for round 1.
What's happened to him?
Just a little bit of barber's itch.
That sounds painful. The NAB Cup is traditionally the forum in which new rules and developments in the game are sampled. And there's one such thing happening this year where AFL umpires are wearing wristbands that vibrate when the final siren goes, and, and that will let the... Oh, you've got one here.
Yeah, they've lent us one.
So basically just a small vibration goes through the umpire's wrist, so if he doesn't hear the siren because of the crowd or whatever, as happened in Tasmania last year, then they'll know it's the end of the game. And I've got the remote here, so we'll just give it a quick try.
Yeah.
Just to... is there some
You got to press both buttons at the same time.
Yeah, oh my god! Oh my god! I must have had this set to you on. Good lord. Well, I mean, there's some teething problems, but do you think it's something that could be developed, like this year in the regular season?
Do you hear dogs?
Paul, one other funny story to come out of the weekend game between Brisbane and Geelong was a 9-point goal that Luke Power kicked after the siren, which was scaled back several minutes after the siren to a 6-point goal, which could have left some punters sort of thinking they'd won and then suddenly finding out they hadn't. It's a strange thing to change the scores after the match.
So how long had elapsed until it was amended?
Several minutes, I think. So some skullduggery perhaps going on. Perhaps your mate Simon Beasley was pulling some strings behind the scenes.
Oh, that's a bit silly. I wouldn't say that.
Because he's such an intimidating character with his bald head and his,
We've had this conversation before.
Really? What, that you're shit scared of Simon Beasley?
No, I'm not saying that I'm scared of him.
Well, so most people think he's just a, old bald-headed idiot.
Don't say things like that. It just gets me nervous. Oh!
That's right. That's just my mum. I'll call her back after.
You are a mongrel. You really are.
Anyway, we look forward to more of the same next week. NAB Cup final and then a couple more weeks till the season proper, so a lot to look forward to.
Just don't mention Simon Beasley.
Just settle down, Paul.
Oh, my feelings.